The most powerful man on Earth wasn't brought down by bullets or bombs. His downfall began with a few low voices recorded in secret inside the Oval Office itself. These weren't just recordings. They were confessions. Proof of lies, of cover-ups, of power twisted into something darker, and the scariest part? For years, almost no one outside the White House ever knew existed. So what exactly did those tapes capture that Nixon never wanted the world to hear? Setting the stage. The break-in. The mystery began with chilling details. 5 men caught red-handed at the Democratic National Committee headquarters inside the Watergate complex. What seemed like a petty burglary would spiral into a scandal that shook the foundations of American democracy. But how could such a small crime reveal the actions of a president himself? The burglars had wiretaps, cameras, and lists of political opponents, tools meant to spy, sabotage, and manipulate, and all the while higher powers in the White House watched quietly, waiting. Who in Nixon's inner circle orchestrated this and why? Nixon's shadow game. Nixon told the public it was just a third-rate burglary, a minor incident best forgotten. But behind closed doors, the president himself was writing the script, buying silence, coaching lies, and tightening the noose around his own presidency. And all the while, every word, every plan, every slip of the tongue was being captured by tape recorders hidden in the Oval Office. Nixon had installed them to protect his legacy. Instead, it became the weapon that would destroy him. But when investigators learnt about the tapes, how long could Nixon keep his darkest secrets locked away? But once investigators discovered the tapes, how long could Nixon really keep his secrets hidden? The secret tapes revealed the disclosure of Nixon's tapes spread like wildfire through Washington's shadows. Suddenly, there was proof. Not speculation, not rumor, but proof of crimes whispered in the Oval Office itself. These weren't theories anymore. The tapes held Nixon's own voice, authorizing payoffs, scheming sabotage, and plotting against enemies. But here's the chilling truth. Nixon fought desperately to erase or hide them, because he knew one single recording could end his presidency. So the question remains, who risked everything to drag these secrets out of the darkness and into the light of history? The journalists who wouldn't quit. 2 young reporters refused to let the story die. Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post. Their secret source, known only as Deep Throat, fed them explosive details. The trail of money, the sabotage, the whispers of cover-ups inside the White House. Each article they published dragged Nixon further into the light. But the deeper they dug, the more dangerous it became. What if the government turned its power against them? And what final piece of evidence were these reporters chasing that even Nixon couldn't escape? The story doesn't end here. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Dark Decoded X because the darkest secrets are still waiting. Fear inside the White House. The White House was no longer a seat of power, it was a fortress of fear. Walls that once echoed with policy now pulsed with anxiety. Phones tapped, allies watched, enemies named. Every man in Nixon's circle knew one wrong move and they could be the next sacrifice. But the real horror wasn't in the betrayal of men. It was in the machine that never slept. A recorder in the Oval Office, silently swallowing every word, every threat, every lie, every plan to strangle the truth. Each reel of tape became a ticking time bomb. So which conversation, which secret would finally push Nixon past the point of no return? The court battles. The battle over Nixon's tapes wasn't fought in shadows anymore. It reached the nation's highest court. Nixon hid behind executive privilege, insisting the tapes were his personal shield, his private weapon, his secret vault. But the Supreme Court shattered that illusion, unanimously and absolutely. No man, not even the president, could bury evidence of his own crimes. The ruling struck Washington like thunder. Suddenly, Nixon wasn't untouchable. He was cornered. And when those tapes finally emerged, the voice America heard wasn't the leader they had elected. It was something colder, darker. A man conspiring against the democracy he swore to protect. But here's the question that haunted America. If this was what Nixon allowed to be recorded, what horrors were erased forever in the missing minutes? The tapes speak. The tapes were worse than anyone imagined. Casual conversations about bribes, cold discussions of sabotage, and then the smoking gun. Nixon's own voice ordering the CIA to block the FBI investigation. In that moment, the mask fell. No excuses. There was no escape. The tapes proved obstruction of justice straight from the president's mouth. The voice that had won re-election in a landslide had just sealed its own downfall. But when the American people finally heard their leader's betrayal, would they ever trust the office of the president again? The fall of an American president. The collapse was swift and merciless. Nixon's allies scattered. Congress sharpened the knives of impeachment. The public, furious, demanded justice. On August 8, 1974, the unthinkable happened. Richard Nixon became the first American president to resign. What began as a midnight burglary had spiraled into a constitutional crisis and ended with the fall of the most powerful office in the world. Watergate scarred America. A reminder that even presidents can bleed. But what if this wasn't the whole story? What if some secrets still remain hidden, even now? Watergate, secrets still in the shadows. Decades later, Watergate's echoes remain. Were all the tapes ever found? Or do some still lie hidden, holding truths we've never heard? Watergate wasn't just corruption, it was the decay of power, the rot of unchecked ambition. Every secret, every cover-up, every order had a cost. And the story isn't over. If new tapes surfaced today, what hidden betrayals would America finally confront? Like, comment, and subscribe to Dark Decoded X. Hit the bell and uncover the secrets they never wanted revealed.